Okay guys, today we're going to take a look at how to do this kind of brickwork with the plaster falling off. So I'm going to take a few minutes and show you how I did this. It's really easy. Stick around and I'll show you how. Okay, so what I've got here is just some foam board. It's that, like the cardstock with the foam in the middle. You can find this at, most hobby shops and stores like Walmart, Target, things like that all carry this kind of stuff. It's relatively inexpensive and you can make a lot of structures out of this. So this is what that haunted house was made out of. So I'm going to use just a little piece of this to show you how I did the brickwork there. So the first thing you want to do, and be careful with this, watch what you're doing when you're cutting. Just make an area that you want to cut out the plaster and just kind of trace it out. Okay, then we want to peel the cardstock off, just the top layer, so just grab it, peel off what you can. Again, be really careful with the knife. And we're not going to get it all off the first time probably, that's okay. Just keep peeling away at it until you get down to the foam layer. And don't worry if you chip up some of the foam, that's okay. We're going to want to do that on purpose later anyway, so any that you do now is just fine. Okay, so we've got that cut out. Now, this made really rough finish, and I did that on purpose. That's why I'm digging at that with a knife, because I want it kind of rough. Now, you can do something else. Once you peel that very top layer off, you can actually get a washcloth dampened with warm water and soak that area. It'll kind of loosen the glue, and then you can just peel that top thing right off, and this will be relatively smooth. So if you're going for a real smooth look under here, you probably want to do that route. But I was actually wanting to rough it up, so I just went ahead and dug it out. Now what we're going to do now is we're actually going to score the bricks in here. So you want to take first a knife and just kind of score some lines in there for how you want the bricks to look. Then I've got a pencil, just a regular old number 2 pencil here that's rather dull. See? And I'm just going to draw over the places I scored. And that'll kind of widen the lines out a little bit. Alright, so you can see there, I mean, it's already starting to look like bricks. So now all we got to do is paint it up. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some brick red. I know it's really hard to imagine me using that, but that's what I'm going to use. Oh, sorry. Before we do the brick red, we want to base it in gray. So we're going to take some dark gray. Stand up! Okay, so I just painted around the outside just to kind of give you some context. I mean, this is obviously going to be in the middle of a wall, and you'll probably want to go ahead when you do this gray coat and do whatever painting on the wall you're going to do. Okay, so go ahead and get your base coat on the wall too when you do the base coat on the brick. So next, what we're going to want to do after I get a paper towel. Is then we're going to want to go with the red. Now we don't want this to be too wet. I mean, take it right out of the bottle. You know, get your brush pretty dry. Now we're not dry brushing. We're going to use a lot of paint, but we don't want it really wet so it doesn't sink down into the mortar lines. We want to leave that gray there much as we can. So you're probably going to want to wait till this is dry. I'm going to go ahead and paint the red one because I'm just trying to give you a general idea.
Stand up, stand up. You make me stand up, stand up. You hate me, stand up, stand up.
Alright, so you can see we've already got some decent looking brick here. But we're going to go further with this. So I'm going to set this aside and let it dry, and then we'll come back and finish this up. Okay guys, the paint's all dry here, and I went ahead and just put a second coat of the dark gray around here just so we'd have some, so I could show you how to do the highlighting on the plaster. What I'm going to do now is kind of finish off the brickwork. So I've just got some terracotta here, which is basically kind of a orangey red. We don't want much. We really want to dry brush this. And not get much on here because we just want to get a little bit of highlight. So
I see the man in the street and he can't be beat, so I'm down on my knees. I see the whole wave of hair in the air again, and she never goes home.
Alright. So far it's looking pretty good. We're going to do one other thing. I mean, if you look at old brick walls, you will notice that, especially walls that are going to be behind plaster anyway, in old buildings, the brick layers weren't particularly careful with their mortar because the bricks were going to get covered up anyway, so what do they care? So I'm actually going to take a light gray and just kind of, you know, slop a little bit on the high parts here. It's kind of like dry brushing, but I'm not going over the whole thing. I'm just trying to pick out some areas like where the mortar would have been slopped over.
I see the whole wave of hair in the air again, and she never goes home.
Alright, so there you go. There's that pretty finished. You can see that looks fairly realistic for brick. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that same gray, light gray, and kind of dry brush this gray just to kind of give it some texture. Then you want to take a little of that gray and kind of just highlight the edges around the plaster. Alright, so there you go. I mean, that's really all there is to it. There's not a whole lot of work, a few simple brush strokes, and you've got some pretty realistic looking brick. So if you have any questions, post up a comment, shoot me a PM, I'll be happy to answer them. Thanks for watching.